Now what is this value in rectangle polar form? 100 plus J50.
at an angle 26.
Yeah. 111.8
At an angle 26.5.
angle plus 26.5. Okay. Volts. Okay. Uh, now this is 111.8 at an angle 26.5 volts. Now there are two meshes, mesh 1 and mesh 2. Okay. So let this be A, B, C, D, E and F. Okay. Now you can say apply KVL to mesh 1, or first we have to assign the currents. Let mesh 1 current be I1, mesh 2 current be I2. Okay. Apply KVL to mesh 1, which is A, B, E, F, A. Yeah. Now, in the previous case where we studied DC circuits, it was simple to understand the current direction and polarity. Okay. In active elements, the current was flowing out of the positive terminal, and in passive elements, current was flowing into the positive terminal. But because the circuit is now alternating current circuit, AC circuit, the polarities are not fixed. Okay, depending upon the frequency, the polarities are changing per second so many times, or polarities are changing after every half cycle. Now, how to assign the polarity? So, whenever we get AC circuits, we do not assign the polarity. Then the question is, why this arrow mark? Okay, so arrow mark indicates that the source is delivering the power from it to the circuit. Okay, so this is the source voltage, and all other voltages in the mesh or in the loop or in the circuit across passive elements are voltage drops. Okay, so generally when writing the KVL equation for AC, it is very easy. Writing equation is very easy because it is EMF minus the drops. So EMF is what? It is 111.8 at an angle 26.5 minus, okay, 10 plus J5 into I1 minus 4 plus J3 into I1. Yeah. Now I am in mesh 1. 6 ohm is common between mesh 1 and mesh 2. So it will be minus 6 into I1 minus I2 is equals to 0. Okay. Now it is simply rearranging the terms. So it is 111.8 at an angle 26.5. Simple. So here I need not to worry about polarity. What is the direction of current, whether it is fall in potential, rise in potential, nothing. Source voltage, positive. Okay. See the direction of current and direction of source voltage, they are along the same direction. So it is positive minus all the voltage drops in the circuit. Okay. So I1 is flowing through 10 plus J5, I2 is flowing through 4 plus J3. It is in 6 ohm, it is both the currents I1 and I2. Because I am now in mesh 1, it is I1 minus I2. So it is I1 minus I2. Now open the brackets. Okay. Minus 10 I1 minus J5 I1 minus 4I1 minus J3I1 minus 6I1 plus 6I2 is equals to 0. Okay, or I can write 111.8 at an angle 26.5 minus 10I1, all the real terms, minus 10I1 minus 4I1 minus 14I1 minus 6I1 minus 20I1. Okay. Minus J5I1 minus 3J1, J3I1, that is minus 8I1. Okay. Then plus 6I2 minus J8I1 plus 6I2 is equals to 0. Or this implies I can write this as 20 plus J8I1 minus 6I2 is equals to 111.8 at an angle 26.5. Or if you want to add the current voltage, write the voltage in the rectangular form, it is fine. Then also it is fine. Okay. This is equation 1. Similarly, now I should write KVL for equation 2 for mesh 2. KVL for mesh 2. B, C, D, E, B. Okay. There is no voltage source in mesh 2. So RHS will be automatically 0. So what I can write is, now current I2 is flowing through 6 ohm and I am looking at that from mesh 2. Therefore, it will be minus 6 into I2 minus I1 minus 5 minus J5. It is same 5 minus J5 into I2 is equals to 0. So there are only two terms in mesh 2. So I get only two terms in mesh 2. So rearranging, it is 6I1 okay, minus 6I2 minus 5I2, that is minus 11I2 okay, plus J5I2 is equals to 0. Or if you want to put it in the standard form, minus 6 like we wrote from the inspection method in the previous class, minus 6I1 plus 11 minus J5I2 is equals to 0. This is equation 2. Okay. So now I have to solve equation 1 and equation 2. Okay. Solve equation 1 and equation 2. Now first write the equations as they are. 20 plus J8 into I1 minus 6I2 is equals to 111.8 at an angle 26.5. Okay. Second, minus 6I1 plus 11 minus J5 I2 is equals to 0. Now writing the same two equations in matrix form, coefficient matrix is 20 plus J8 minus 6 minus 6 11 minus J5 into I1 and I2 is equals to 111.8 at an angle 26.5 and 0. Now you should apply Cramer's rule. You should not forget Cramer's rule because I have calculator in my hand. Okay, in calculator I cannot solve complex matrix. Okay, so therefore I need Cramer's rule throughout. Using Cramer's rule, okay, I1 is equals to determinant of first column is replaced by voltage matrix. Zero. Second column is written as it is. Divided by delta. Now what delta is? Determinant of coefficient matrix. 20 plus J8 minus 6 minus 6 11 minus J5. Now what this determinant yields? Principal diagonal elements product minus subordinate diagonal element products. So it will be given as 20 plus J8 into 11 minus J5 minus 6 into minus 6. Okay. This is equals to. Please tell the answer. Tell the answer in polar form.
$188 at an angle of minus 3.6.
No. It is 224. At an angle minus 3. Anybody is getting this?
Yes, sir.
Delta is 224 at an angle minus 3.06. 224.3 at an angle minus 3.06. I will take minus 3 only. All are getting same? Is this value correct or the other value is correct?
This value only, sir.
This value is correct. Okay. Now I1 is equals to, it is 111.8 at an angle 26.5 into 11 minus J5 minus 0. 0 into 6 is 0 divided by 224.3 at an angle minus 3. is equals to. You can enter directly the polar form also in complex calculations. Okay. So only I have taken mixed polar and rectangle. It should be practiced to you. Okay. So I1 comes out to be, in the rectangular form, it is 5.999 plus 0.53 J. If you convert this into polar form, it is 6.02 at an angle 5.05 amperes. Getting same?
Yes, sir.
All are getting same?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
See, now it is asked to find the current in 4 plus J3 ohms. Current in 4 plus J3 is I1. I have found out I1, it is enough. If you want to do practice, you can calculate I2 also in the later point of time. Okay. So it is very important first look into what has been asked in the circuit to calculate. Don't simply go into calculations of everything, especially in AC circuits, because AC circuit calculations are time consuming. Okay, because everything has to be done manually. There is no direct automatic substitution in calculator and getting the results. So one suggestion from my side, to manage the time in exam, keep the AC circuit calculations at the end. First, you go through the question paper, find out what are the answers which you can, questions which you can answer very comfortably. Out of them, first try the DC circuits, because the DC circuit solution is easy. You can get it in calculator if it is 2 equation or 3 equation circuit. Okay. Generally, you don't get 4 equation circuit in exam. Even if the AC circuit is very simple, okay, you just keep it after some time at the end in the sense, not at 4:45 or at 4:30. Okay, comfortably you first solve all the DC circuits which you are good in, then you touch these circuits, because this will take some time, and even a small mistake in sign will yield wrong results. Okay, and I have been evaluating the electric circuit analysis papers now. Okay, for backlog subjects who had backlog. Okay, so far I have evaluated around 100 scripts. Very rare number of people have achieved the solution till the answer. I am not telling till the correct answer, till the answer. Many people will just write the equations, they try to solve, they won't get the solution, they leave with the example solution at the middle, and they go to next question. This is where many students will lose the marks in this subject. Okay. So only I told in many previous classes that only mere knowing the solution how to get is not sufficient. You should have practice. Your fingers should have practice of solving it. Though you know the process, when you directly jump into solution in exam, you will not get the answer. It is by default. Okay, it is as good as I know very comfortably to write my name. I can write like this. Okay, but if I want to do the same thing with my left hand, can I do that? It will be like this with the same speed. Okay, though I know how to write my name, I can't do that with my left hand with the same comfort, with the same neatness. Why? Because my left hand is not practiced of writing. Though my brain knows, my muscles know how to write, what to write. This is very best example of knowing how to solve and actually solving by practice. This will happen. It will be as good as you people are writing everything with left hand. You will never reach the target. Okay. So achieving solution is one thing. Achieving correct solution is very important thing. So whenever you are following the process of calculation of any numerical, however small, however complex, however big it is, you should be well alert about the coefficients, about the signs, about the substitutions. Please don't substitute the values in your mind, then put it in calculator, then write only the answer on the paper. Okay, it is dangerous for scoring. Okay, so please be concerned about this. Okay, be concerned about this. Is where most of the students will lose the marks. Most of the students, and if the answers are wrong, generally more than half the marks you may lose of that question. If the question is of 10 marks, you may lose directly 5 marks. Though you have achieved the answers, but if they are wrong. Okay, this is the reason why people find it very difficult this subject to get through. So you should be careful and alert what you are doing. Okay, laziness and negligence will yield to failure in this subject. Okay? You will get to know, you will get experience in your test which is coming on Monday. Okay, I will discuss about that at the end of the class. Okay, so everybody got this answer?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now I don't need to find out I2 because it is not asked in the question, so I don't do that. We'll save that time. I need to find the power. Okay, power in 4 plus J3 is equals to it is I into R, that is I square into R, that is I square into impedance. Okay. Now you should understand one thing. Did you people go through the lecture videos, the links of which I have shared to you? Yes? The links of basic electrical videos which cover this RL, RLC, RL, RC, RLC, all series and parallel combinations, complex calculations, vector diagrams, everything. Did anybody go through? Yes? Either say yes or no so that I can continue. If there is a long pause, I cannot understand anything. Yes or no?
No, sir.
May I know the reason? That was not a social service from my side so that you will understand the basics. It was required for my subject here. Because unless and until you know the nature of power in AC, how you will calculate it? Because this point, everybody will make mistake. Every year, everybody will make mistake. Okay, it is up to you how you will manage. So 4 plus J3 ohms, the power loss in an impedance is nothing but power loss in the resistance. Inductance will never consume any power. Inductance will never consume any power. So J3 term will not come into picture. So it is I square into R. I square into R. Or you can also find power by using V into I into cos phi. Calculating cos phi. But to find out cos phi across 4 plus J3, you should know what is the voltage across 4 plus J3. Then phi will be the angle between voltage across 4 plus J3 and current through 4 plus J3. That is additional steps what we are including, that we don't do. So one thing you should remember, that whenever we say power consumed will always occur only in resistive part of the circuit. Reactive part of the circuit will never consume any power. Okay, so it is I square into 4. And what is the current now? It is 6.02 at an angle 5.05. And whenever we are calculating power, you should remember, I should not consider the angle of the current. Or if the current is in a rectangular form of representation, I should take the magnitude of this. I should never take directly I1 as 5 plus 5.999 plus j.53 square into 4. Power should always be a real quantity. Power should never be a complex. So power should always have only the magnitude. It should not have angle. So power should always have only the real term. It should not have any imaginary term. So because it is a multiplication, I should be multiplying only two real terms. Now why not I consider angle here? Any reason? Any reason why don't I consider angle for the current in power calculation? Yes? Any reason why don't I consider angle in power calculation for the current? Because power is scalar. Power is scalar. It has got only magnitude. Okay, no direction. Okay, so angle indicates the direction. A vector of 6.02 units at an angle 5.05 from positive x-axis in anti-clockwise direction is the direction of the current I1. But when I take power, power is a scalar quantity. Hence, I should be considering only the magnitude while calculating the power. Okay, you should keep in mind. Okay. Now, if what happens if you calculate power in a complex form, which many people will do this. When I ask you to find out the power, what you people simply will do is I square 6.02 at an angle 5.05 square into the resistance. You will get again that in some angle. Now, if you keep the answer in angle or in complex form for power, it is understood that you have not understood the AC circuit. And you will lose more marks for that question. Suppose it was for 10 marks and answer is wrong, you may be getting some 7. But if they see power in complex, you may get only 3. Okay. So understanding fundamentals is extremely important in any subject. And unfortunately, because of this pandemic, basic electrical you never studied in a formal way. It was only a casual study for you people, because you were when the exams were cancelled and you were promoted, you simply discharged all the things what you gained in the study, what you did in online classes. Now you have to charge it, you have to regain it. Without understanding basic electrical engineering, it is very difficult to understand the further topics of the electrical science, because everything will come back to single phase AC circuits, three phase AC circuits. Other things, okay, to some extent, even if you forget, it's fine. But single phase AC circuits and three phase AC circuits, you must be knowing them throughout. There is no what we get discount in that part of the content. Okay, so I again suggest to go through the lecture videos of mine or the faculty who took you that subject in previous semester. If you have those videos, you go through. Okay, but you should be knowing. Every time it is difficult for me to explain everything in the regular class only. Okay, so this is how to get the solution for AC circuit, simple AC circuit. Okay, we will take another example. Now we will solve the example in a reverse way, like I told in the previous class. Now, if I have the equations, okay, if I have the equations, I should get the circuit. One small example we'll look into. Okay, you can take mesh equations for a circuit are given. Mesh equations for a circuit are given. Okay, obtain the circuit elements and draw the circuit. Okay, so the equations are 20I1 minus 10I2 is equals to 100. Minus 10I1 plus 30I2 is equals to minus 50. So these are the two equations given. So it is evident that the circuit consists of two meshes. Okay, circuit consists of two meshes. You can write. We have two equations. With two unknown currents. This indicates the circuit has two meshes. The circuit has two meshes. Okay. Now, what I will do is I will write the general equation for two mesh current, a two mesh circuit. Okay. Let us write or first we'll write the circuit. See, there is coefficient of I1 in mesh 1. It means there is one passive element in mesh 1. Okay. There is coefficient of I2 in mesh 1 equation. It means that there is one common element between mesh 1 and mesh 2. On RHS in mesh 1 equation, let us take this for mesh 1, this for mesh 2. Okay. So the RHS of mesh 1 is not 0. It has got some value. It means that there is a voltage source of 100 volts in mesh 1. Direction we will check. Okay. So there are three terms in mesh 1 equation: 20 I1, 10 I2, minus 10 I2 and 100. So there are three elements in mesh 1. Okay. Coefficient of I1 indicates one element in mesh 1. If coefficient of I1 and coefficient of I2 would have been same, then I would have thought that there is no series passive element with the source. Because coefficient of I1 and coefficient of I2 are different, and coefficient of I1 is greater than coefficient of I2, it means that there is one more element through which current I1 is flowing. I told that coefficient of these equations are nothing but the resistors or the passive elements. So the resistance through which current I2 is flowing from mesh 1 or looking from mesh 1, there is another resistance through which I1 is flowing, okay, which is greater than the common element, or which is the coefficient of I1. If it is greater than the coefficient of I2 in mesh 1, it indicates there is one series element in mesh 1 which is on the perimeter of the mesh, and it is not common. Okay. So this is mesh 1. Now there is coefficient of I1 in mesh 2. It means that there is common element between mesh 1 and mesh 2, which is same. Coefficient of I2 and coefficient of I1 will be same in both the equations. Okay. Now there is coefficient of I2 which is greater than coefficient of I1. Definitely there is one more series element in mesh 2. Now on the RHS of mesh 2, some voltage value is there. It means that there is some voltage source in mesh 2. So this is the circuit. Now I got the what we can say, this circuit, which still we don't know what are the elements. Now we got the orientation of the circuit, the geography of the circuit. Okay. Now let this be R1, let this be R2, and let this be R3. Okay. Now when we looked into an example in the previous example, okay, we wrote the equations using inspection method directly. How did we write the equation using inspection method? If I am in mesh 1, the coefficient of I1 will be sum of all the resistors. Coefficient of I2 will be the common element between I1 and I2 with minus sign. Coefficient of I3 will be common element between I1 and I3 with minus sign. Equal to the voltage source value, okay, equal to the voltage source value should be taken positive if the direction of current I1 and the voltage source is same. Should be taken negative if the direction of current I1 and voltage source direction is opposite. So here we got some equation, this equation we got, okay, 32 I1, observe the coefficient of I1 in mesh 1 is larger than other two coefficients. Coefficient of I2 in mesh 2 is larger than other two coefficients. coefficient of I3 in mesh 3 is larger than other two coefficients. Okay. So now when I observe the equation, mesh equation, RHS of this mesh equation 1 is positive. What does it indicate? Why did I take it positive? Because the direction of current and the direction of EMF is same. So in the reverse way, what I can understand from the equation is, if the RHS of equation is positive, the direction of current in that mesh and the direction of EMF source is same. So from this circuit, what I can understand is, I already have assumed that all my mesh currents throughout are in clockwise. So the RHS of mesh 1 equation is 100. It means that the direction of EMF source plus 100, it means that direction of EMF source and the direction of current I1 should be same. So this is the polarity. This is 100 volts. Now observe the RHS of equation 2, that is for mesh 2, it is minus 50. So the direction of current and the direction of EMF source must be opposite. Now the current is flowing from top to bottom in this source of mesh 2. The EMF direction should be opposite to that. So it means positive up, negative down, and this is 50 volts. Okay. By observing RHS of the equation, suppose if RHS of mesh 2 is 0, then there is no voltage source in that mesh. There is no voltage source in that mesh. Okay. Now I got what is the voltage sources. Now I should be knowing what is the resistor values. Now I will take this as equation 1 and this as equation 2. Now apply KVL to mesh 1. This is mesh 1. This is mesh 2. KVL to mesh 1. Yeah. From inspection method, will you tell what it will be?
R1 plus R2 into I1
R1 plus R2 into I1
minus R2 I2
minus R2 I2
is equal to 100.
is equals to 100. Then KVL to mesh 2. It is, yeah, minus R2 into I1 plus R2 plus R3 into I2 is equals to minus 50. Now take this as equation A and equation B. Okay. Now compare, this is equation 1. This is equation 2. Okay. Compare equation 1 with equation A, equation 2 with equation B. Okay. Compare. Equation 1 and equation A. Yeah. Or on comparing equation 1 and equation A, what I can write? Coefficient of I1 in equation A is R1 plus R2. In equation 1 is 20. R1 plus R2 is equals to 20. Is it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Are you getting this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Comparing equation, what I did is I observed the equation. Okay. I got to know the orientation of the circuit. Okay. I wrote the KVL equation for the general circuit, which I don't know about the values of those. Then I simply am comparing those two. I will get very easily. This is the easiest method to get circuit from the equations. There are various other methods, but this is the easiest one. And R2 is equals to 10 minus R2 I2 minus 10 I2. So this is what R2. And R2 is therefore R1 is equals to 20 minus R2, which is 20 minus 10 is equals to 10 ohms. Okay. So now I got what is the value of R1? This is 10 ohms. What is the value of R2? It is 10 ohms. Similarly, comparing equation 2 and equation B. Okay. Similarly, comparing equation 2 and equation B. Now, sorry, this is minus R2 I1. Okay. So R2 is equals to 10 ohm and R2 plus R3 is equals to, it is 30. Comparing equation B and equation 3. Okay. R2 plus R3 is equals to 30. Okay. I know what is R2. Therefore, R3 is equals to 30 minus R2, that is 30 minus 10 is equals to 20 ohms. So R3 is 20, R2 is 10, R1 is 10. So now did we get all the circuit elements? 100 volts, 10 ohm, 10 ohm, 20 ohm, 50 volts. Okay, so this is how we have to go ahead with the solution when I know the equations. When I know the equations and I want to get the circuit and the circuit elements. Okay. So any doubts in this?
No, sir.
Okay. So this you should be practicing. See, once you know how to write the KVL equations by inspection, getting circuit from the what we say equations is extremely simple, very, very simple. Without going through anything of the solution, by simply observing the equations, you can draw the circuit. To that extent, you can grow. Okay. So